If you guys thought the last case was difficult, I'm about to one-up you guys with this one. Now, you're going to be a physician in this one as well. So you are the doctor. However, you're not going to be acting out this case. This is not going to be a case I'll ask you to act out, and you'll see why in a moment. So you won't be actually interacting with another actor or an actress, for example. You're just going to be talking with an interviewer about what you would do in this situation if you were the physician. So keep that in mind. You won't have to actually interact, and you'll see why it won't make sense to interact in a moment. So your patient's going to be unconscious, which is why it won't be beneficial to interact with an unconscious patient. So we have this hospital bed here. It's a crudely drawn hospital bed. Set the mood over here. There we go. It's a hospital bed, and we have our patient who is unconscious on the bed. And let's get some information regarding this patient. She is an 18-year-old girl. 18 years old. She is unconscious, so she cannot respond. She's incapable. And the third point is she desperately needs a blood transfusion, or she will die. So what do you do in this case? Well, it seems pretty simple. Give her the blood transfusion, and this case is over. You get 100% on this scenario, right? Well, before you get up to leave the room and shake the interviewer's hand, we have one little curveball to deal with right now. We have one little thing. One of the nurses went into her purse and found this card over here. She found this over here, which was Jehova Witness. It's a signed Jehovah Witness card. And if you're not aware, the Jehovah Witness faith is 100% against blood transfusions. They would rather die than receive blood transfusions, even in the case of life and death. Signing this card indicates that you will forego treatment if you are unable to make your own decision, and you need a decision to be made right now, and you can't awake to make the decision. You're unconscious. This card will make the decision for you. What do you do? Now, I want to put this in an entirely emergency situation. Let's assume that it's impossible to contact the parents. Not that that would change anything, and I'll talk about that later on perhaps. But just for looking at the pipeline through this case, let's just assume that we have to make the decision within the 8 minutes we have in the room. The parents will not be contacted. There's just no time to do so. What do we do? And this is going to be a case where there's a procedure we need to go through. And it's going to be a tough case to answer, but we're going to take a look at it. So let's start off with the way we start off each case, which is looking at what the problem is, right? Patient will die without blood transfusion. They have a card that refuses treatment. They have a card that refuses treatment. What do you do? And like I said, we're going to be discussing this case. It's not going to be a case where we're going to be acting it out. You're not acting it out with an unconscious patient. It won't make any sense. So you'll be able to ask questions in terms of what you would be asking yourself, right? So when we go down to the part where we collect information, right? It won't necessarily be called collect. We can call it questions, but I'll call it collect here just to be consistent. So collect/question. Right? We're going to be asking the questions that we would be asking ourselves and basing our pathway off of those. So let's go ahead and say that, right? What are some questions we want to ask ourselves in this situation? Well, we want to know, how recent was the card signed? How recently was the card signed? If the card was signed recently, then it's probably going to reflect her current state of mind, right? Maybe she had a revelation that she does not want to be part of the Jehovah Witness faith anymore, and the card is still in her wallet, right? So, to avoid that situation to the highest percentage chance you're avoiding that situation is if the card was recently signed. The problem when I'm reading this in the practice sets, this direct problem says that the card was recently signed, so very recently, within 6 months, for example. So let's say the card was signed recently, which means it likely reflects her, proper state of mind, right? Well, a question that we want to ask, but it's very hard to like get an answer for this, but it's a good question to ask. We have to think: was she competent when she signed the card? Did she understand what refusing treatment would mean? Now, you're asking this question out loud, right? You're trying to think of it, but there's no answer to it because the patient is unconscious. She can't answer it. It's up to you whether or not you can figure that out. But you don't know this patient. You don't know her history. So questions like that, you can ask them out loud to say this is something that's going to be going through your mind at the time. And it's good to do that during your interview when you're having a discussion-based interview and not a scenario interview. However, you will have to come up with a decision right now of what to do. So with these two things here, saying that the patient is, we can't contact the parents, let's go ahead and look at the solutions we have. And really, they want this to come down to two solutions. They really want to see what you're going to do in this case. We have two things we can do. We could give her the transfusion. Anyways, respect her wishes. What do you do? What do you do? And this is a hard scenario, right? Because as a physician, and especially if you're somebody who is not involved with this faith, it's hard to appreciate other people's religion, especially if you're someone who's not religious at all. You might not have trouble appreciating religions just in general. So to be honest, like you might just say, look, I got to save this girl's life. But to be really honest, I don't want to say the correct answer, but what you should do here is respect her wishes. So giving her the blood transfusion goes against her informed decision. So goes against her informed request. And this option over here is, in my opinion, I guess this is one where you can maybe find an argument for the other side. But to be completely honest, as much as you want to provide care for a patient, you really need to respect their past wishes. So this is going to be respecting the patient's past wishes. And you'll have to refuse treatment. And it's difficult, right? I mean, the rest of the pipeline, it's kind of hard to go into detail what you're going to do, right? But, if you say, like, you can't obviously, you remove the step of, asking the patient if this is what they want. But what you can do is you can say that, as much as I would like to save this person's life, I need to respect their wishes. And their past wishes were that they want to refuse treatment. It's a difficult case to see, but that's unfortunately what, it comes down to. You're going to have these hard cases. So if you have any questions regarding this case, the Jehovah Witness case, leave a comment below and we can discuss it. So I'll see you guys in the next video.